Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Shots Fired podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Rodriguez, a.k.a. Big Joe.
Tafari Mark, a.k.a. Two Tria.
And just before we get started today, Tafari and I were just kind of having a conversation. I wish we had started recording a little earlier. Just kind of talking about our backgrounds and things like that, kind of how we grew up, what our family life was like. He kind of joked around and it turned into something serious, but we were talking about just the difference between like the black community and the Hispanic community and how we grew up so different and what's normal and what's not normal. Bro, like just some of the things you were telling me, you were just cracking me up, dude. Like, but it's real. So I do appreciate you just kind of sharing that with me, man, and just kind of giving me an insight into how you grew up, what you kind of experienced as a kid and into your middle years, and now that we're both getting older, having lived through some crazy things and some not so crazy things. You just kind of realize once you get our age, it's time to kind of slow it down a little bit and just kind of take some perspective into your life.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like conversations like what we were having are constructive. We definitely, can learn from one another, especially with like how you were saying, the way I grew up, the way you grew up, stuff like that. It needs to be talked about, basically. So yeah, I mean, I wish we could have caught it. Maybe next time.
Yeah, I'll definitely hit the record button a little sooner than we did, but basically just kind of talking about single parent families as opposed to like having both your parents and just kind of growing up and the struggles and things like that. Everybody kind of goes through it, but I won't say that one way is better than the other, especially because you can be a kid from a one parent family and still be successful and be a good person, and grow up right, and you can also have that coming from a 2-parent family. You can be from a 2-parent family and be a jerk. So, I mean, it's I think it's all in just who you surround yourself with and the environment that kind of surrounds you. So that's pretty awesome, man. I do appreciate you just sharing that with me. And like I said, man, hopefully next time we can get it recorded. But just wanted to get started today and talk about a little bit about the upcoming contracts that these Dallas Cowboys have. Spotrac has some general numbers that are kind of being floated out there in regards to what I would say is our new triplets, Dak, Zeke, and Amari Cooper. And basically, they've kind of floated these numbers out as a rough estimate. We'll definitely just go into these numbers really quick, kind of decide, are we paying too much or is it not enough? Is it perfect for the market?
Who's getting paid first?
Who's going to get paid first? Yeah, things like that. So just kind of getting into it, we have Dak looking at 5 years, $145 million with $65 guaranteed. That averages out to about $29 million per year. Just starting there, man. I kind of agree with that. Keeping him in the 20s is ideal, I think, for the Cowboys. It still gives us some wiggle room, gives us some flexibility. And with the 65 guaranteed, we're not really locked into him after about the first 3 years. We can definitely cut bait if we need to, or we can, if we see that he's not cutting it, we can still use those years to draft and maybe find a replacement. But I definitely think 29 is good. it's still competitive with the top 5, but it's not overcommitting, in my opinion.
If we can get him lower, I'm with 29. I mean, it's lower than 35, what he's probably really asking for, but he's getting paid more than Kirk Cousins. I think he'll make less than Matt Ryan. I think it's $1 million less than Matt Ryan. So in between there, you know, he's somewhere in between there.
Yeah,
I do feel like he's better than those two guys. So I would pay him more than what those two guys are making. But hey, you know, everybody can't get paid. Everybody can't max out.
right.
And
Especially when you're trying to build a championship team.
yeah,
You can't pay everybody top dollar. It just doesn't make sense. If you're going to pay somebody, yeah, you're going to want to pay your quarterback if he's leading your team to victory after victory, and that's what Dak's done, but he's not necessarily been able to do it by himself. I think he needs that supporting cast like Zeke, now like Cooper, to kind of help him.
but I think every quarterback needs that supporting cast.
Yeah, right. Don't get me wrong. Every quarterback, every good team should have that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're trying to win a championship, you're definitely going to try to surround your guy with the best players available. But again, you're doing it at a sensible price. You're not trying to overpay. You said, hey, I think he's better than Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford,
Kirk
Cousins. But we agree that those guys are overpaid. So yeah, those guys are overpaid. We don't want to overpay our guy, but we definitely want to keep it competitive. So I think 29 is not bad, especially for what you get and again the flexibility that still offers to the Cowboys.
It offers flexibility. It doesn't max him out to where the other players can't get paid because I think, you know, like we said, we got Zeke, Coop coming up. I think Jalen comes up next year. And then you have to start thinking about a couple years down the line. You'll have Michael Gallup. You know what I'm saying?
Van Der Esch.
Yeah. So, like, all these guys need to be paid. Now, whether or not we're trying to make him the highest paid quarterback in the league is a different story. But 29, average of 29 a year with 65 guaranteed, I'm definitely good with that. I think Dak is pretty durable. He hasn't missed any games in the last 3 years, right?
He has not missed any games.
He's made 2 Pro Bowls, been to the playoffs twice, won a division twice. So he deserves his contract with the projection that he's gonna be back to those same places or better in the next few years. So 29 a year, 65 guaranteed. I'm definitely good with that. Kind of remind me of the Romo contract. Wasn't that similar to what he got?
Yeah, I think he was getting like 25 a year or something like that. I think the last couple years of his contract, that's about what he was hitting, somewhere in the 25.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely comparable, especially with the time that's gone by, and we've seen the quarterback salary just go up year after year after year. Again, I don't think that we should have to overpay just because other teams decide that they're going to overpay their guy. Because now it's kind of biting them. So, I mean, Matt Ryan, I feel is like on the tail end. He's grossly overpaid. Kirk Cousins, I mean, he's kind of like a Tony Romo duplicate. He's fully guaranteed.
This is true.
He's fully guaranteed.
Yeah.
And he's making, what, 29 a year? As well, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 3 years, 84 fully guaranteed, so somewhere around.
Yeah,
there,
28. Yeah. So I mean, he's fully guaranteed. I wouldn't mind offering Dak something like that either. So I'm sure he's going to go in there on the high end and say, hey, go ahead and give me that 35. But eventually we have to come to a point where we're all realistic and we say, hey, let's meet somewhere. I'm sure Cowboys went in at 25, 26.
Yeah, they're gonna lowball. They're definitely gonna lowball.
Right.
And his counter offer was somewhere around 31, 32.
Yeah.
From what I read. So if we can get him at 29, even 30, I'll be good with that. It doesn't max him out. We still have flexibility. We'll still be able to move pieces around and obtain pieces. And it's not like we're trying to be major players in free agency anyway. So,
at all.
So the money is going to homegrown talent.
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely not paying guys off the street. So if you're a Cowboy, you probably have a better chance of getting paid from the Cowboys. So that flexibility that we're alluding to is flexibility that we're going to need for his surrounding pieces, again being Zeke, who is reported to be looking at 3 years, $48 million with 24 guaranteed. That's $16 million per year, and that's right in line with the top paid guy, Todd Gurley, who has, what they say, an arthritic knee now.
Yeah, an arthritic knee. I'd definitely pay Zeke more than Gurley. I know Gurley is valuable to the Rams franchise.
Right.
Zeke is either equally or greater than as valuable to us, as well as, with I think he's had 3 or 2 rushing titles in the last 3 years.
He would have had 3 if he hadn't missed suspended 6 games. He was only, I think, what was it, like 600 yards, 3 to 600 behind the top rusher, and that was with 6 games missed. So
yeah, so he was still in the top 10 with like 900 plus yards.
Yeah.
So that's still top 10ish that year. So I'm definitely fine with paying Zeke, but I do not want to give a running back a long-term deal because we don't know how long running backs are going to stay around. Not as far as them being here on the team, but just more so durability.
Bro, so the way he plays, he's a
physical guy.
He's a thick running back, but he plays like he's just humongous. He plays like a bruiser.
Yeah.
But he's got the finesse, but he doesn't
avoid contact.
Right.
Most of the time he creates the contact.
Right. He's looking for it. And that does not translate to, durability and years of play, man. You're looking to be more like a Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith type guy.
Yeah.
And this guy's just full speed ahead. Whatever happens.
Yeah. So with 3 years, I'm fine with 3 years. He deserves his contract. I don't think Zeke is losing any of the Zeke touch.
Right.
So I do think he's going to be productive.
I think he slowed down just a little bit.
I do think he slowed down last year. It was obvious.
Right. First year in the league, if he's past you, he's past you. I think last year I saw a couple plays where he got run down. So
yeah, old ass Malcolm Jenkins caught him. I think he'll still be good. I think he just needs to change a few aspects of his game. Hey, let's not look for the contact. Let's try to avoid the contact sometimes. But yeah, 3 years, he should be. He definitely should be good for the next 3 years. So that contract, he deserves it.
The other thing is you give him 3 years. We kind of talked about this, you and I, is what if he's missing games due to his conduct? You're not handcuffed to him for 4 or 5 years at that point. You're not stuck long term with somebody who may not be available to you. I think like that, he's still getting his money. Is it just one of those lucrative contracts and it's like one of those shock the world contracts? No, but it's sensible. It makes sense. It's not like, oh, we're lowballing you here. We're gonna make you the top paid guy, but it's not outlandish.
I don't even think that contract, if he gets that, I don't think it even resets the running back. Le'Veon may have got less than that.
Le'Veon got 12 or 14?
I think he got 14.
Yeah.
So, hey, look, you're a running back. We can't – I don't want to give quarterback money to a running back, but as far as rushing is concerned, Zeke is definitely the most valuable rusher in the league.
And he gets lots of touches, man.
Yeah.
He's definitely our bell cow. And something he kind of added last year that I was pretty impressed with, catching the ball.
Yeah. He, like that bomb he caught versus Detroit.
Yeah. Down the sideline.
Yeah, it just showed you what type of player he is. He's a special player. So you definitely want to keep him around. But I don't want to give him quarterback money, but I do want to give him what he deserves.
Yeah.
As far as the running back pass catching running back is concerned. And he deserves to be the top paid guy. Like he's been the top rusher 2 out of 3 years. He's the most valuable player, if not the second most valuable player on the team.
Yeah.
So I definitely would pay him. I don't have an argument with you on that one. Now, it kind of rolls into what we're going to talk about next, which is Amari Cooper.
Right.
Spotrac has Amari Cooper at, 4 years, $75 million? That's 33 guaranteed.
Yeah, so that puts him at 18.75 a year that he'll get paid.
So before we actually go into that, I have a question.
Okay.
Do you pay Amari Cooper this year or do you pay him next year? Because he's still under contract for a year.
So I think you pay Coop this year just so that the market doesn't go crazy. Just kind of looking at it, quarterback and wide receiver, that market is starting to go up more and more and kind of get a little bit unreasonable. Running back is still pretty sturdy. The NFL still has a pretty good idea of you don't pay running backs.
Yeah.
So I think you can get away with Zeke not getting paid this year and still pay him something comparable to this next year. And get Coop paid this year. I think if we wait another year, who knows what the hell is going to happen with the wide receiver market. Antonio Brown's out here just changing everything up. OBJ's changing everything up.
Like Julio got extended.
Right. So, I mean, at this point, better safe to pay the guys that we know that market is going up on, and we have Zeke in our back pocket.
So we still have 2 franchise tags we can use. Would you use a franchise tag on one of these guys?
If I was going to use a franchise tag, I'd probably use it on Zeke. I'd franchise him. The only thing with Zeke is out of these 3 guys, Zeke strikes me as the one guy that would probably
have a fit.
Yeah, be the biggest diva about it. Dak, I don't think would act like that in public, but I'm sure he'd have the same kind of opinion in private. I'm sure Dak gets tired of seeing Zeke in trouble, saying, man, that guy gets paid way more than I do, and he's leading the team. That, Dak leads this team. He's our leader, so I'm sure he's ready to get paid, and I definitely think I'd franchise Zeke.
I think I would agree with you just because of the trouble aspect with Zeke. And I do also agree that I do believe that he'd throw a hissy fit over receiving a franchise tag. But take into consideration as well, Zeke was a first-round draft pick. He has a 5th-year option. And then if we were going to use the franchise tag, that's another year of basically team options. So, yeah, man, I think with the way that they're reporting, if these contracts come out this way, with Dak, 5 years, 65 guaranteed. Zeke, 3 years, 24, and Coop, 4 years, 33. I would agree with all those contracts. Like, I do believe that they all deserve those. I know Coop was a 2-time Pro Bowler in Oakland.
Yeah,
he had an all first half of the year last year. And once he came over to Dallas, like you saw the Coop of the first 2 years from Oakland. So I don't disagree with any of that. I just think that we want to be strategic about the way we pay these guys, because the numbers, the 5 years, 145, the only thing that really matters is the guarantees, right? So we definitely want to get the guarantees correct, and I think these guarantees, at least if they get these contracts, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, man, I definitely agree. I think these are good numbers. If you're a Cowboys fan, you definitely like these numbers. These are still a little bit team friendly, and you're not overextending yourself. You're not putting yourself in a bad place to be handcuffed to a possible liability down the road.
Yeah.
Plus, you keep in mind all these guys are still in their 20s, their early 20s.
I think they're right around the same age, 24, 25, 26.
Right. So, I mean, You're looking at a team that is starting to build young, building through the draft, and I think we're doing everything the right way. We're not, like you said earlier, we're not getting guys in free agency, the older guys who are out there. We're just sticking to our farm system, basically. The guys that we bring in, we coach up. We get the best out of whatever we have, kind of like a Jeff Heath. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not the best thing out there, but he's a guy that's been in the system, and we coach him up.
Man, I don't even want to get started on Jeff Heath. I mean, I think Jeff Heath is a good player. I think I would say that Jeff Heath is good as a backup player, and once you have him on the field too long, that's when he starts getting exposed. But that's something for a different episode.
Yeah, we'll save that for the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I definitely think, with these 3 contracts, I'm excited to see what comes out. Jerry Jones is a very, very strong businessman.
Yeah.
And he's built his career on making deals that make sense. So I don't think he's going to do anything too crazy, especially with Steven in his ear now more and more. We'll see, man. I'm excited. I can't wait. But I feel like these numbers, if they're representative of anything close to what's going to come down, I'm excited, man. I can't wait to see.
Yeah, man. I can't wait for these guys to get paid. Now it's just a matter of who you're paying first. And me personally, I'm taking care of the quarterback first. So you definitely don't want to have an unhappy quarterback,
right?
Where this guy touches the ball every play. He distributes the ball to everyone. So you have an unhappy quarterback, and I hate to say it, but your quarterback could sabotage these games. Not saying that Dak Prescott's going to do that, but we don't even want to take that chance.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So I guess it sounds like we're in agreement here. You pay Dak first, Coop second, Zeke last.
Yep.
I definitely think that's the way to go. Like I said, with the market being what it is for all 3 positions, Dak, Coop, Zeke. If you guys out there disagree, or if you do agree, we'll be more than happy to kind of hear you out. We're definitely excited to get your guys' feedback. Let us know what you think. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us at the Shots Fired Pod on Instagram. You can reach us via email at shotsfiredpodcast@yahoo.com. You can reach me on my personal Instagram, J_Rod65.
And you can get at me on Twitter at _TUTRILL, and that's the same handle on Instagram. So hopefully you guys like it. We certainly want to hear some feedback, and hit us up.
Yeah, man, we'll read some. Hopefully we can get some feedback. We'll read some emails on one of our future podcasts. We'll read them out and just kind of answer them one by one. We definitely do encourage you guys to give us that feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. We're just trying to grow something here. We're trying to, establish something. We're having fun with it. And the outpour of support, man, is just so overwhelming. So thank you guys so much for all of that love and support and appreciation. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. And we look forward to many, many more episodes still to come. Thank you.